we opened up the show talking about the dysfunction in New York with the Jets and their quarterback situation, and we start hour 3 of the program talking about a former New York Jet, and that being Jamal Adams of the Seattle Seahawks, 3-time Pro Bowler, and apparently somebody who likes to get after it a little bit on social media and on Twitter. So this is the way this story went. Connor Hughes of SNY, he's an NFL reporter, he commented on a video of Jamal Adams getting beat on a play while with Seattle. And he wrote, "Yikes." So Jamal Adams found a picture of Connor Hughes' wife and posted that on social media and wrote, "Yikes."
Oh, no.
Well, of course, that got a ton of blowback. A guy who works with Connor Hughes in New York, Brian Costello, he wrote, "I've covered a lot of players through the years, never met anybody who's more of a phony than Jamal Adams. I always thought he was a bad guy. Today he proved he is even worse than I thought." Jamal Adams wrote back, and here comes Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Hughes' right-hand man. "Truth be told, I do not care. I do not like you, never liked you. You're terrible at your job. You do not know me outside of the game of football, so keep that bleep pushing. #Prez. Well, Pete Carroll was asked about the interactions between Jamal Adams and members of the media, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, we've already addressed it with him, and, I don't know if it was a great decision at the time. I'm not sure about the details of it, but I know that he realized that he needed to take it down what he put up, and so we don't want to be part of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jamal Adams decided to double down yesterday when talking to reporters when he said, quote, "When others go low, I go lower. You can sit there and have regret, but I don't live that way in my life. It's always the athlete that crosses the line when he responds, but at the end of the day, disrespect is disrespect, however you want to take it. So I responded. I knew when I did hit that tweet, I wasn't in it to win it. At the end of the day, it was to get him to understand, quote, leave me the hell alone." So that from Jamal Adams and his cute little back and forth with members of the media. So,
he didn't take down Mr. Potato Head, though.
No,
I'll tell you that.
No, it's still there.
It seems like it's a fairly simple situation, but it's not. Because you can really see all perspectives of this. Like in this case, Jamal Adams looks like the bad guy because of his response. And obviously that was unnecessary, and it brought someone into the conversation it's not necessary, right? That being said, like, you got to look what starts all of it. Like Connor Hughes, right? Is it his job to post stuff on Twitter to kind of clown a player? Like, is that ultimately his job? Does he get paid more for creating great content on his Twitter account or any other social media page for that matter? No. He chose to make that decision in a realm that really doesn't have anything to do with what he's ultimately, who he's contracted by and what he's paid for. Now, people can take issue with that. They can say, well, social media following helps create more clicks, more viewers, more attention, blah, blah, blah. Amplifies stuff, right? It still was unnecessary. So, I don't know the backstory between these two, if there's personal vendetta.
Adams has said there is, that they've had a previous history.
Sure, but I'm saying, who knows the extent, right? Like, and we're only hearing from his side of it. I'm just saying, like, nowadays in social media, like, people feel liberated to kind of say and do what they want and then not face the consequences of that. And this goes for both sides of this. Like, for the reporter to do something like that obviously he was motivated to because of maybe their past relationship or past interactions, but it wasn't necessary. He chose to do that. So, like, you're gonna say something to someone, like, this is where, like, the world of and being an athlete in a stadium where everyone's talking trash to you and saying stuff, we're like, guess what? The fence is down. Now you're on a level playing field with them where they can punch back, they can talk back, and you're not gonna like what happens because like when people talk trash back and forth, like, one of the things I'd say is, like, that locker room is a crazy place, bro, and the stuff people say to one another is tough, and that's why. People usually say what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room, because there is so many, like, vicious things that are said and that maybe happen that it wouldn't make sense to the outside world. And the problem is you're now kind of, in essence, poking the bear or trying to poke a player who's in a locker room who that's what they know. That's the world they live in. Like, it's survival of the fittest. And so you're not going to like how a guy comes back. And look, not every professional athlete's going to handle themselves the same way. Some are going to be much more professional about it. Some ignore it. They'll act above it. But in this case, like, you kind of open yourself up to that. And so I'm not trying to say, like, I'm on Jamal Adams' side in this case. I'm just saying, like, social media it's awful for our society. I don't know. Like, I know we try to make a big deal about it for people making money and digital marketing and all this stuff. It has probably done more harm to people's reputations and careers, with people being fired and stuff that has been posted, and reasons why corporations have had to, reprimand people, than actually helped people. That's just my view on it. Like, I really don't view it, and I'm on it, in part because I've always been warned that you don't want people to be out there, like, speaking on your behalf. Now, with AI and everything else coming out, who knows what this world looks like in the next 5 to 10 years. But I just think, like, it's an easy out for people to go, oh, Jamal Adams is a bad guy for what he said. Well, why did the reporter provoke it in the first place then? Like, why did he feel it was necessary to do that? And in both cases, like, both guys are wrong. And I think you could see it that way and just say, yeah, maybe this is something that, like, we should just try to have a team policy on if you're the Seahawks, and say, like, unless it's for, like, a business thing or something, or you feel provoked to want to post about your family or something, like, just stay off social media, because it's never going to benefit you in season. It's just not. And on the flip side, if you're part of the media and all that, it's like, well, yeah, be careful, like, who you try to, like, say stuff about and come after, because you're not going to – this isn't a corporate working environment. It's the NFL. It's a professional athlete. Like, it's different. Like, most people can't handle some of the stuff that's said in the locker room. I'll just leave it at that.
I just found it to be pure entertainment. Like,
and that's always been your stance on social media. Like,
yeah.
You like it. You find it entertaining, and you like to engage in that.
It's pure entertainment, because in the end, those people don't know what you're going through on a daily basis, what your life is like, and we don't know what they're going through and what their life is like. Same difference here with this reporter and Jamal. They don't know each other's lives. And so you're shooting an insult, and the insult is it's empty calories, if you ask me. So I don't find myself getting too deep into it. Like, I don't like. I'll get, like, he took a personal shot, like, and it's what I found is there are no rules in social media. Like, you would think, like, even in the locker room, as malicious as guys can be, with comebacks and with joning and with trash talk. Generally speaking, there are unwritten rules, like leave wives and spouses out of the equation, leave parents out of the equation. Once you go there, then now it's not for fun. We're not having S and giggles. This is real. And then now that means someone in the locker room needs to intervene in what's going on, what's taking place in the locker room. On social media, that doesn't exist. So when there are no rules to how you engage, then it's interesting, because when someone of note plays by no rules, people get offended. They can't handle it. Like, how could Jamal Adams do that? Well, a million other people are doing the same exact thing.
You should be bigger than that. You should
right.
Yeah.
So now you want to start, like for instance, somebody came at me the other week and said LaVar only defends James Franklin because he wants his son to go to Penn State.
Oh, that was me, by the way. I apologize.
And I say to him, I said, I don't need to do any selling or ass kissing over my son. He does fine all by himself. And by the way, he would knock your ass out, right? Now, here's what's funny. I'm talking football. When I said he'd knock your ass out, I'm talking football. So the person writes back, oh, that must be CTE. You're so violent. Just because I said something about you, you're saying now your son is going to punch me out and beat me up, like, da-da-da. Like, and I left it at that. Like, and it like, to me, it was just like entertainment. Like, I'm saying what I'm saying. You're commenting on the post. It is what it is. So for me, I look at it like, if I'm Pete Carroll, I'm like, that's a grown-ass man. What he does in his spare time is what he does in his spare time. If anything that he does impacts what we do here in our facility, then that's when I'll have a conversation with him. Because social media is, if you're looking at social media, you can go one or two comments down and there's somebody being a jerk. Like, that's the bottom line. It's almost like the criteria is to go on to this show or go on to the social media sphere and let people know how miserable you are about your life. Because really, that's all it is. When you put your negativity on social media, all you're doing is exposing that you're unhappy with yourself. So for anybody to allow that to become more than what it is, then that's on you. That's your own personal choice. To me, that's how I look at it, because social media is not going anywhere. You're not going to get players to not use it, because they are going to use it. Other people, media, other people, their sources or whatever, they're going to use social media. Everybody's going to use social media. So if you decide to put your own credibility out there on the line and you want to impact it that way, that's your choice. That's your choice. And if that hurts you in the job place, that's your choice. Because some of these people, the one thing that's different when a pro athlete does it or when a media person does it, people know who you are. And they do sit there, Jonas, and say, you should be better than that. And in reality, they should. They should. And that's a choice that you're making. But there is no real – to me, there is no real there is, unless you're doing something that breaks the law, or you're saying like, I want to kill you, or you should kill yourself, or like whatever, If it doesn't go that far on social media, I could care less, man. Honestly, like you could go people go racist on it. Like, there's people that have had racially driven undertones in how they address me on social media. I don't care. I really don't. I
had a guy send me a message when I was doing weekend overnights, and I don't know what I said that must have pissed him off, but he went in on, because the picture of my Twitter profile is of me and my mom, and you guys know how I feel about her, and he went off and just called her every name in the book, and I mean it was bad, and I wrote him back. I was like, "You're all right." And I didn't hear from him. And then the next day I get a message from him and he was like, I'm so sorry. I was drinking, this and that, so on and so forth. And my whole thing was like, hey, I'm like, hey man, I don't take any of this stuff personal. It's fine. But if I were you, I would delete that immediately, because you wouldn't want an employer or somebody seeing a drunken moment in Twitter and to go ahead and evaluate you as a person as a whole on that one moment. And he deleted it, and I never heard from the guy again. But there is this thing where once you have that screenshot or that snapshot of somebody, like I don't know Jamal Adams. He could be a good dude. I have no idea. But now the reputation is, oh, well, he's going to pull up a picture of your wife and put that on social media if you snap at him about his play. Like, it's just entertainment, though. You're not going to get
to know him any better.
It's just
whether
weird.
He pulls up a picture of your wife, an armadillo, a cow, a tortoise, you're not going to get to know who Sam Adams really is. So whatever Jamal. It is that you draw, Jamal.
Yeah.
So whatever conclusion you draw, you can draw it. It doesn't matter, because it's not going to be accurate anyway. It just comes down to professional integrity. Do you want to be a person of integrity or not? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to for any of them.